Hello, I have here the LEGO Architecture Series Great Pyramid of Giza set. I bought this for $130 US and built the whole thing live over on my Twitch channel. This of course includes no minifigures because of the scale, but I will throw a random minifigure in just to show you for the sake of reference. The main product page for this set gives you some dimensions. It's for the entire thing, but I can tell you that just the pyramid itself is about 7 inches tall, about 18 centimeters in height from its own base, and the width of it at the widest point, just the pyramid itself, is about 11 inches or about 28 centimeters. So there's the minifig back there. Obviously this is showing the pyramid as it would have looked when it was absolutely complete and finished, with the full polished limestone casing on it and all of the freshly built and beautiful additional supplemental buildings and structures down here. 2 of the 3 Queen's pyramids would fit into this space. The other one would be offset, so they just didn't depict it here. You got a little bit also of one of the channels off of the Nile, not the Nile itself, but one of the channels that would have been used for the construction of this to bring the main stones up close. But as you turn this around the side, if you didn't know, you learn very quickly that this is not a pyramid. It's a half a pyramid. It's cut right through the center, which you can say, well, you know, makes it good to be able to put it right up against a wall. You can put it on a shelf or on a table or something, put it right up against the wall. But of course, they could easily have designed it to have the pyramid more centered in the space, and then you have a flat rear to it. But by doing it this way, what they have allowed is this, which is a really, really nice bonus to be able to see a cutaway, to be able to see inside of there. You can see a couple of little Technic bricks here with the axle holes to suggest that, hey, if you just buy a whole second one of these sets, you can create yourself a full pyramid. Of course, if you do that, then you build it to per instructions, then you end up with all of this stuff doubled on both sides, which honestly could look pretty nice, but then it's not realistic entirely. You got some of the sands being wind blown in, so you got some dunes suggested along the side. And let's get in and take a closer look at the lower plateau and the channel area. This is one of 2 micro-scale boats that they have in the water, and the water surface itself is covered with a single layer of light blue tiles, but underneath are a bunch of different colors to suggest a bit of sediment coming through the center, different depths of the water at different parts, and also where you've got the shore coming in, and there's a little bit of suggestion of foliage in the water. So they've just got green underneath the layer of transparent tiles here to suggest, like maybe some grasses and such, some smaller reeds in there, which is pretty nice. Lots of good foliage here, including the very dark green edge along here, which would be all damp, is nice to see. And then it gets a little bit drier up here, but still plenty has been built up with the bright green used here, the olive green used here, and bright green, and the lime green for the palm trees. A bunch of small structures are depicted here with simplistic builds, but I think that they're pretty effective. I think that this is pretty right. They show the windows such as they were. It didn't have actual glass panes in them, but did have some openings, and obelisk is built over here. Very simple build for that, but I think it's about right. I think it looks proper. The main causeway is shown here with small sphinxes built simply, but I think well to scale. This whole thing here is nicely inset. It's actually, it actually attaches or lines up pretty well to the opposite end as you go through this structure here. Large statue is suggested with the trophy piece there. This technique has been used in a few architecture. Well, this is, I think, the 3rd architecture set to use this technique with the 1x4 panels stacked together. They're not even attached, only the top one is to hold it all in place, but to suggest the little stairway there, which is nice, but probably not the most accurate thing. I think there would have been more extension out. This would have had more of a pier down here, but I don't know if we have any archaeological evidence of exactly how this was designed. So I kind of like the overall look of this. Also, the nameplate is the original showing the original hieroglyphics for the king, for Khufu, and they also have this option if you want to swap that in instead, but I think this just looks about 10 times more special and more appropriate to use here. Here's the smaller boat. This one's a little bit fancier, got a little gold at the back, so this might have been from a royal procession of some sort. These actually have the sarcophagi in them, so each one just built inside has a little stack with a dark gray ingot piece on top of a dark gray 1x2, but you're not going to see that anymore after you've built it. But it's a really nice nod for the builder, the person who's assembling this, to know that it's there. The entrance archway here suggests a couple of columns in there as well. There would be multiple columns, but that's pretty cool. And then the suggestion of the entrance itself is back there, and there's a black brick inside to suggest that it is deep. It's not actually hollow here, but they're trying to give you that impression and that illusion. Now, all of this is very simple how it's built up. You can see that the surface is just all plain slopes, corner slopes, old stuff, nothing fancy except for the capstone here. If such a thing did exist on this particular pyramid, you've got the gold coating for that one. And this is drum lacquered. It's not just molded in like a pearl gold. So this is the best gold color that Lego makes. And then if you look along the edges here, I'm halfway through, sorry about the focus there. Cameras tends to have a little bit of trouble with focusing on large areas of a single color, but all through here, you see an interesting seam, separate from the internal structure that's shown here. And then you got the sarcophagus itself suggested. And this seam, see the mold marks right there. It's not something we see all that frequently on display so much, but the seam indicates where all of the casing ends, and all of that can be just torn right off. Before I rotate this around, I do want to point out that there are several different colors of tan in here from different batches at different times, which is unfortunate because this is a brand new set. I paid a good amount of money for it, and Lego is all about quality and making plastic. That is their main thing. So it's not good to see them doing different colors here, even though some people will argue that, well, it actually looks better if it's more randomized. It looks more realistic. But we don't pay for random colors of plastic. We pay premium prices for a single color to be the color that it's supposed to be. And then if we want to customize it, we can. We can airbrush stuff, we can weather it, etc. But it's not good when a single color actually turns up as multiple colors in this. You can complete a capstone if you want, or at least suggest it with the one that's being hoisted up here. But this is really nice. This shows the pyramid under construction. Of course, if you show this with this down here, then that is historically inaccurate because they would have passed this stage by the time all of this was finished up to this level, I'm pretty sure. But this is nice. It is a nice bonus. The building techniques are very simple here, but the Lego math is really good to get this rampway in here at this angle with not too much gapping around the edges. You can see some interior colors just a little bit, but generally this is done really well. Fits in there nicely. I thought that this was going to be hinged from the top and then just kind of sit in there. It's actually attached with 2 hinges underneath, so it's really secure. Just nice building technique there. Crane here, crane there, another one up. What exactly was? I think this was another crane, a larger style of crane as well, and the large winch up here. What you see is pretty much what you get here, but what you get is nice. And like I said, it's really just a bonus. I also like how smooth the surface is around the outside. Once again, you see some different colors like that. Modified tile or modified plate is distinctly a different color than the others around it. But it's just so easy to display this. If somebody comes around, family member, or friend or something, you want to say, "Oh, let's check it out," and just put it back, and you take it off. Like this, this is a nice unit. Interestingly, this is built on top of steps, which just saves a whole lot of time and makes it really straightforward. A lot of this is repetitive building, but how else could it have been done? I would not have wanted to see this any more interesting than it is, because it's just right and not at all wasteful. It was a little bit tricky at some points because the stairs, before you put a whole lot of the outer casing pieces on there, will be able to move around a little bit, but it's no big deal. Use a finger underneath and on top to push the pieces down until you got enough of them on there, and it works. It does its job well. And last, these are the leftover pieces. Of course, there's no sticker sheet to show you. The price of $130 US for this set is a lot, but seeing it in person and having gone through the build process, really feeling how much stuff is there, it doesn't feel as outrageous to me as it did when I first saw just the pictures of it online. This is a very beautiful display piece. I think that a lot of people will really, really like it, really, really enjoy it. And folks for whom money is no object, well, knock yourself out. There's nothing bad about this set, in my opinion. There's certainly some historical inaccuracies there, and the proportions are not perfect by any means at all. But it's good. It's really enjoyable. It's nice to put together. The repetitive stuff up here of doing the casing goes by quickly. Most of the work goes into the base, honestly. And this feature is nice. It's really nice. Again, you're not going to get historical accuracy with this and this scene together, but the fact that a minimum number of pieces were wasted for this is great. However, it could be argued that a lot of pieces were wasted for this if you just want to have a pyramid, because probably 99% of people are going to show this once or twice, to some family members and friends, and that's it. And it's just going to be put on display like this. So most of the time, I feel like the overwhelming majority of people who get this are going to just have this. And yes, you do get to experience the build process. As the builder that it's there, and that does have value. Being able to turn this around and see the cutout definitely has value. So that layer there and the layer behind it to get the dark covering behind, so you don't see inside of the structure, all that has value. But I personally very strongly would have preferred to get just a slightly smaller scale pyramid with a similar overall size of plate. There was, however, a complete pyramid. I want a complete pyramid. I've seen a lot of arguments about, this being really convenient to display because you can put it right up against a wall. It fits nicely. It's got that flat side, that whole flat side. But here's the thing, pyramid has 4 flat sides. So if they just made the pyramid itself bigger, scale it down if necessary to still be able to have some of the cool looking auxiliary stuff around there, it's still going to be flat on the back. So you're still going to be able to put it up against a wall. And not only that, but I mean, if you do put this up against a wall, I mean, you're really going to see that it's a half a pyramid, right? It's kind of a cool display, I think. Let's see. Another one of these. Another one. Yeah, it's cool. But I think it's very obvious that it's a half a pyramid. But your mileage may vary on that. Some people may actually like to see that. That's my biggest feedback, my biggest criticism of this, that I wish it came as an entire pyramid. That said, yes, they do have the 2 little Technic bricks on the back that anybody can see. It's designed to have an axle put there, and you buy a whole other set and you connect them together, and there you go. You got a full pyramid. But then you also have all this stuff doubled up. This set is not designed to allow you to customize this stuff, to be able to fill it. If you get a second set, it's not designed to allow you to fill all this area up with tan, or to make it anything other than what's here, or some very minor variation of what's here for the frontage area and the channel and everything. Because even like the Queen's pyramids are done as their own. That whole plateau is done as its own sub-assembly, and then underneath there is just ugly. It's hollow underneath that space. So if I remove these right now, it's not going to look good. It's not going to be just some dark tan. And do you want dark tan on the desert side, the land side? You probably don't. So, yes, you can always get 2 of anything and put them side by side, but I don't feel like that's a good feature. I don't see that as a plus personally, especially since in this case, if you do that, you're not going to get something that's right. It's not going to simply complete the pyramid. It's going to introduce other problems. I think I've pretty much covered my thoughts on it. Really good for what's here. Not going to say anything more about that. Price is a lot for an architecture series set, for this amount of stuff, this amount of building experience. It's not that outrageous. It is really not that hard to see for the opulent target market that they're going after with the architecture series in general. More accessibility to more cool things, always a good thing, but Lego from the start of the architecture series has gone for an older and also more opulent audience in general. And I think that this does not go crazy with the price for what it is, for the size of it in 2022. Those are my thoughts. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon.